We're at Sally Kate Winters Family Services. We welcome to the program now the Attorney General of the great state of Mississippi, General Lynn Fitch. Hey, General, how are you today?
Hey, good morning. Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. I want to pass this on to our audience real quick. Once again, text SuperTalk 24 to 41444 to make a donation to Sally Kate Winters. So, I think there's a lot of stuff your office is working on, correct me if I'm wrong here, General, that relates to the good work the folks here at Sally Kate Winters do. You've got lots of bills that you are advocating for that protect our children, and that's what this operation is all about.
They do a fabulous job. We're excited to be a partner with the Sally Kate Winters Family Services. They reach out. They help these children. They're there for the runaways, the homeless youth. They do so many things that are so significant with the Children's Advocacy Center. These children so need this, so deserve this, and they've been an amazing partner with us, and we do have a number of things going on. One of the ways that we partner with them is through the MAMA program that you and I have talked about in the past, Gerard, that is an incredible program. That's a website, and it's also an app, and it's just I'd recommend the listeners go out and download it. It's just mama.ms.gov, and you can click on the areas and see what resources are available, say in the West Point area, and then certainly the Sally Kate Winters services would come up. But it's an opportunity to bring together the private sector, the public sector, and our faith-based communities and provide resources. And when we launched it off, I mean, it's certainly to help our mothers-to-be, our children on so many different levels. And so we knew that it would probably be very beneficial. Once we launched it off with the website in October and the app in January, we've had over 9,000 visits to the site.
Wow.
So we know that this is a great partnership and really being able to help and benefit our mothers and our children.
Well, when you think about it, General, it feels like that when you've got innocent children without good law and law enforcement and adults that are speaking out on their behalf, such as your office, hopefully our legislature, and just citizens in our state, they don't really have a voice.
They really don't. And it's on all of us to stand up for these children. If you just, the stats alone show that, 1 in 7 children are abused or neglected within a year. 1 in 4 girls are sexually abused before they turn 18, and 1 in 6 boys. So we know it's happening out there. We know it's significant. And here's the kicker. 90% of the children that are abused, they know their abuser.
Man,
so
that's
we
incredible.
Have to stand up for them.
So one of the bills I think you're advocating for was drafted by my state representative, Representative Jill Ford in Madison County, the Walker-Montgomery Protecting Children Online Act. Tell us about that, HB 1126, and why this is important.
Oh, this is such a significant bill, Gerard, and we need everybody to be a part of this. We need to get this bill passed, and I appreciate Representative Ford. She moved on this bill in the House, and it passed unanimously and then went over to the Senate. But this is so significant for parents. This gives parents those extra tools to keep their children safe online. We know that about 91% of children have a smartphone by the time they're 14, and 1 in 5 of these children are being solicited online. So even as the most diligent parents, you still need all the assistance that you can get. So House Bill 1126 says that it gives parents the opportunity to give their children permission to get on the social media. That provides some safeguards to really protect our children's privacy and identifying information. I mean, we know these criminals are out there. We know they're exploiting our children, and it's so important that we have this bill, again, to protect our children. There's another part of another bill number that's also for Walker Montgomery, and what an incredibly horrific story to lose the life of that outstanding young man. he was unfortunately caught up in some online issues as well. Again, why we need more parental protections in a sextortion case. Unfortunately, that young man took his own life. And so now we have to stand up and say we can't afford to lose one more young person in the state of Mississippi based on sextortion, based on not having parental controls. In that situation, it's happening not only in our state but across our country. These criminals, these predators, they get into these online different media platforms. They go after vulnerable young people. They get pictures, and then they extort them for money. And then they, if you tell them if you don't come up with the money, we're going to send these pictures out to your friends, to your school, to your family. And if they don't come up with the money, then many times they say, well, your life is not worthy. You should probably go ahead and just kill yourself. And we cannot allow these criminals to do that, Gerard. So that bill also, another number, also protects the sextortion, where we can go after those criminals that do that to our children.
And you're also involved with a number of other state attorneys general as well, working with the Federal Trade Commission to strengthen the rules around children's online privacy. I think there's an act, if I'm not mistaken, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, I believe. And you're working with, and we have bipartisan support for this, right? You're working with 43, is that correct, General?
That's absolutely correct. I mean, there's no party issue here. It is all about protecting our vulnerable children. And yes, we are all in the fight too with them. Again, we've got to protect their privacy. It should not be out there for everyone to see. It should not be put out there where these social media platforms can run algorithms and that they can go after our children, that they can exploit them. So yes, this is definitely a nonpartisan, again, safety issue, privacy issue to protect our children. In the Attorney General's office, we run the ICAC, which is the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So we're leading on online child exploitation. So many times we're out there, we've got a number of partner agencies across our state that are affiliates. And so we'll get leads on how to go and find these live victims that are suffering through this exploitation. And Gerard, I'll tell you, when we first started, we had about 1,800 tips that were cyber tips that came in. Last year, we got almost 5,000 tips. And to date, I mean, we're getting about 14 tips a day, basically. And
that's just the ones we know about, right, General? That's just the ones you hear about.
Exactly. And so it's really important. And so we do cross, other states have ICAC task force as well. And so we're always talking back and forth to try to find these children, rescue these children, and go after these pedophiles, these predators. We've conducted 18 of these ICAC-related, operations, and we've been able to make 22 arrests. So they're out there, and they're looking to take advantage of our children.
We got a couple of minutes left, but I know every time you and I talk, we always discuss the scourge of human trafficking on our state and on our nation. What's going on there? What's the latest?
We're continuing to work very diligently about that. We are out there. We're getting ready to kick off phase 3 of Be the Solution, and I'm so proud of all Mississippians. People have risen to the occasion. They're helping. They're giving tips to us. We now have rescued over 300 people in Mississippi that are victims of human trafficking. And here's the sad part: 21 of those were minors. We found babies and toddlers and 5-year-olds, and these are young victims too that are all caught up in this. And we've been able to make over 80 arrests. We've done 50-something operations in our state, and certainly we're getting some of these victims from across the border, but the majority of them were trafficked by someone that they know and loved and trusted.
Yeah. And we've got legislation as well that would codify and really clarify, more importantly, women's rights and rights to safe spaces that is getting criticized from a lot of people that think this is discriminating against others. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it is so significant that we get that legislation passed. We have to protect women. We have to have those safe spaces. It's again, it's so important. We cannot allow our women to be compromised and put in those situations. And again, there are so many lawsuits that would require us to have a women's Bill of Rights, so I can, in those lawsuits, protect the women, the girls in the state of Mississippi. So very anxiously wanting this bill to get passed, very supportive of it. We feel like we've got one on the House side and one on the Senate side, but it is very critical to the safety, the privacy, and the well-being of our young women and girls in our state.
General, always good to talk to you. Appreciate all the good work you're doing to protect the citizens of Mississippi. The Attorney General of the state of Mississippi, Lynn Fitch, has been our guest. We'll talk soon, General. Thanks.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the support of the Sally Kate Winters Family Services Program.
You bet. Folks, we're coming right back with Angel Face, an instructor at Mississippi State University. Stay with us.